Listening to voices, stories can be strange. It's good to open up to new stories and finding backstories of how people came to be, only to free the mind of what blinds us with only a glance gives us a chance to see people be who they truly are, from silent voices to shining light. Stories that inspire awareness and change. I welcome you to Jessi Stories, Unheard Voices. Everyone, welcome to Jessi Stories, an inclusive space meant for everyone. Thanks so much for being here. If you like the content, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below to help the algorithm out. Today we have theater company, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves and what they do.
Hello, we are the founders of Three Sisters Theater Company in Grand Junction, Colorado. My name is Amanda Jackman. I direct and music direct.
Hi, I'm Julie Matthews, one of the founders of Three Sisters Theater Company. I direct and do social media and just kind of overall businessy stuff.
I'm Sabrina Jackman. I'm one of the founders and I direct. I am the dramaturge, and then I do a lot of stuff with sets and painting and stuff like that. So
That's awesome. Thanks so much for coming here. I appreciate it.
For having us.
What inspired the idea of the Three Sisters Theater Company?
Sure. So Three Sisters Theater Company came about because the three of us we have families, we have small children, and so we found it was hard to sort of get our footing back into the theater community. And so sitting at story time with our toddlers, we just started talking about how our ideas and sort of our philosophy on what we love about theater and performing. And we decided to start our own company. We came together and we talked about what we wanted to do and what we hoped to accomplish. And we aligned very, very well on sort of what our mission was.
and we found that we all had different skills
Mhm.
that we could bring to really make the theater company grow, and that we really had a similar vision of what we wanted to see out of the theater company, and had experienced a lot of the same things trying to be in theater with young kids and work and everything. And so we wanted to create a space where those individuals who felt that they have not been able to participate in theater could join our company and get to express themselves on stage.
I love that. What type of performances do you have?
All kinds. We started this company last fall, late fall. So we've only actually done one official show in April. We called it Cursed to Speak, Herstory Retold. And it ended up running pretty long, mostly because we had a ton of people here and we had to take a 30-minute intermission to get everybody through the bathroom. So it was a little bit of everything. We had music and scenes and chautauqua and movement and everything from Shakespeare to things that people had written, poetry. And we just went through and told all these stories from history, from way back when to now, and how the narrative hasn't really changed much at all in that time. As we are singing about suffragettes, we realized that these issues are still very relevant today. It was a pretty significant performance, and we are gearing up to do another show in the same vein that has a lot of different kinds of performances, but this time it's about women in folklore and legends who have been villainized for the things that they do, and we think quite a few of them wrongly so.
Ooh, I love that a lot.
Kind of looking at some of the stories of female monsters and villains and ghosts, for example, Bloody Mary, and looking at her actual story and then taking that story and kind of telling the truth of it, of how so many of these stories have come about through history because women did not follow the traditional norms of the time, or because they did something that was considered not okay for their gender, and then how they were turned into these monsters and villains and othered for just stepping out of those normal boundaries of society. And so really examining that through these stories.
What was the Bloody Mary original background?
So most historians tie that Bloody Mary story back to Mary, who was the queen after Henry VIII and Lady Jane Grey. And there was kind of she was Catholic, and she came in, and there was a lot of executions of Protestant that were dissenting against the crown, which is not uncommon for that time period. And so she signed the orders for a lot of executions of the archbishop and different people. But the thing is that she didn't do anything more heinous than any of her male predecessors or any of the men that came after. And she really has kind of been villainized and turned into this monster because she took the crown, and then she was a woman who dared to have power. And so her story has been twisted and turned that she was this awful, bloody tyrant, where really she was just doing the norms of society of the time, that the queen was ordained by God and she had every right to do these things. And actually, Henry, her father, Henry VIII, he killed a bunch of his wives. He signed the death warrants of many more people than she ever did. But because he was male, he's viewed differently in history. And we don't call him Bloody Henry VIII. We call her Bloody Mary. And then that's the monster that comes to get you. So kind of looking at that aspect.
I think we should call him Bloody Henry, but that's my own personal opinion.
We should, and some other things.
Yeah.
Yes, fully agree with that. Absolutely. But yeah, I like that you guys have covered Shakespeare because I'm only obsessed with him. But anyway,
Oh, that's me.
Yay.
Yes.
We have someone else obsessed with him.
Yes, I'm a bardolater big time. So
I don't know what that
She
is.
has a
Big
lot
words.
of experience in classical theater, Greece, and all of that, but also like Shakespeare. So when we really need to delve into that, she's the person that we go to for that.
yes,
Oh my
nerd out pretty hard on classical literature and theater and especially Shakespeare.
Yes, I love Shakespeare, especially since he was actually, I think, the first of his time to be a possible bisexual male of his time period.
Yeah.
That's what I really like too, and that he's the one who paved the way for language in not only America, but also in the UK. So our language technically derives from the same person, Shakespeare,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
I, but that's one of my special topics. But do you have queer related plays in the works? That's just a curious question.
I think that we'd like to do some actual theater that's just queer related. In our piece that we did in April, we wanted to include queer women, especially because we feel that queer women are frequently left out of the narrative
And
even now,
non-binary
and non-binary people and trans folks. So we didn't want to just be like, look, lesbians, woo, they exist. We put together a piece where we all sat around a table and we shared things we've actually heard men say. The whole piece started with one of our girls being like, hey girl, what? Do you have a boyfriend? Well, no, I have a girlfriend. And then, hey, dyke. And that's something she actually heard on the college campus.
Oh,
And we
shoot.
proceeded to go through everything from parental rejection to sexualization to take away their kids, the scary stuff that we've heard, and everything we said in the piece, one of us or all of us have heard people say to our faces. And then we sang a song called If She Ever Leaves Me. It's by a band called the Highwomen.
Brandy Carlisle.
Brandy Carlisle led. And it basically says, well, if she ever leaves me, it's not going to be for you. So that's the point we were trying to make. Instead of saying, look, here we are, we said, stop fantasizing about me. It's never going to happen, basically. And that came off very powerfully, we thought.
Absolutely.
All the cast members who were in that piece identify as queer in some aspect. And so it's very important to us that we tell from authentic perspectives and authentic stories. And so to be in the queer piece, you need to identify as queer.
And in the motherhood piece, you have to have had a kid.
And so we're doing another piece for this show that's going to be a movement piece. And anybody in that piece needs to identify either as non-binary, trans, somewhere in there, because that's the story that we're telling. And so only those people that have that experience get to tell that story.
That way it's more of an authentic experience, not only for the audience, but also for the performers on stage.
Which is good because
Yeah.
not every theater company anywhere doesn't necessarily do that. So that's actually a breath of fresh air and good to know that. Yay, there's a theater
In the
company.
future, we'd love to do something that is just all queer, but we haven't gotten there quite yet because we're still getting our footing.
Still working on all the things, but it's definitely on our list of things.
Yay, I'm excited for that. I'm gonna try to drive, I guess, 4 hours out there eventually when you guys do that. But anyway,
Great. We'll save you a seat.
yay! I'm excited. I want to try to support. I'm doing my best from afar, but
Thank you.
I will be there eventually. I just won't make any guarantees until I'm actually physically there. But yay!
That works.
How I keep my promise when I'm there. There you go. And even though you already pretty much said this in the beginning, but you can even go even more in depth. Do you all three write, act, and perform, or what is your primary function in the group?
I have done some writing. I have done music arranging and writing and all of the music directing, quite a bit of choreography that goes with the music. I don't do the movement specific dance pieces, but I do the choreography that goes with the music pieces. And then some directing, which was a little easier last time. This next show has a ton of music, so I'm pretty busy with just the music and choreography this time. And then a lot of the behind the scenes clerical type stuff. I have the OCD, so
Yay!
I like to keep the Excel documents in order.
Yes, we are very grateful for the
Excel.
My ADHD does not make the Excel document, so
There
I
you go.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
So my role is I direct different pieces. I do a lot of the historical legwork. I have an undergrad in history and I'm a huge history nerd. I love it. And so I do a lot of the digging into stories. So I've done a lot of research on this particular show that we're doing. Just make sure we're telling authentic stories and we have the correct historical information. So I do a lot of that. And then I have some background in tech and in sets. And so I help with that aspect of it as well and kind of take, if our tech person can't be in the booth, then I'm usually taking care of that, or I'm creating set pieces and things like that. So, and then of course I do perform on stage some. We try to limit our performances on stage. We try to give that to our cast members so that they can be heard, but we also have some stories to tell. So we are in some various pieces as well.
Yeah, so I do a lot of directing of the poetry, the classical theater aspect of it. I'm more of a big picture of what we want to see on the stage. And then these two help to kind of focus what that would look like and how that actually can come to fruition.
And she's the tech goddess.
Ooh.
Tech, you mean social media?
Social media.
Oh yeah, social media.
Yes.
Instagram.
I think you kind of
Making-
found superpower you didn't quite know you had.
I didn't know I
kind of
had it.
started delving into the social media and the TikTok and stuff because I was like, I don't want to. And you've really done amazing with it. So I appreciate that you're able to do that aspect for us because it's important.
Well, yeah, that's where I discovered you guys was on TikTok, and then I was checking to see if you have other social media, and then I went further and further. That's how I tried to get a hold of you. The best I
Oh,
could.
great. Okay, good. It's working.
It is
My
working.
high
That's
school
where I
best
discovered.
friend texted me. I haven't seen her in years, but she lives in Missouri right now. And she texted me and was like, my roommate just sent me your lesbian Shakespeare TikTok, not knowing that we went to high school together.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. That's what got me motivated to want to interview you guys, is seeing the lesbian Shakespeare, because I thought it was
Yeah.
so well done.
If you're gonna
Super
say dumb
fun.
stuff like that, I'm gonna roast you.
That's
Well, and I
perfect.
think it's probably one of the best ideas that that person has ever had. So
Yeah.
we want to see more lesbian Shakespeare.
We do, and trans and
Yes, all of
non-binary
it.
and
Queer in general.
exactly, because we got enough straight, honestly, white specifically, straight white.
Enough of that.
Yeah, that's mainly all there is out there, straight white, and then you can fill in the blank from there. I know a lot of people even watching can definitely fill that in, or listening, since it will eventually be podcasts, which you guys will be told when that airs. But first YouTube. But yeah. And oh, because I did stumble upon this. What is your newsletter about?
So I do most of the newsletter writing. We've had 2 issues come out so far, and it's a combination of what we're up to and what we stand for. So in the first issue, I wrote an article about feminism being multidimensional and how we don't just talk about straight white women when we're talking about being a
There you go.
feminist. We're talking about queer people and trans people and non-binary people and people of color. And we haven't told any of those stories yet because we haven't been blessed with a cast member who can authentically tell the story of a person of color yet. So, but we still hold space for their voices. It's really important. So you can see in our newsletter what our events are, sneak peeks into our show, things that we're doing, but you'll also see something that's, we were at this protest. We stand for this. Several members of our company stood together at an anti-ICE protest just this morning. Yes.
Activism is a big part too of our mission statement, getting out there and actually not just saying what we believe in, but doing it as well.
Walking the walk for sure.
Which is really important since a lot of people can, I don't know if you guys know my background, but I was in the Twin Flames universe cult.
Oh, wow.
If you go on Netflix, Escaping Twin Flames on Netflix, highly recommend. But for them, so even just in general, because it plays into our current political climate, I don't know how to word that without it cringy sounding, but at least for most that are close to cult-like practices, even politically, they like to put on masks and say they're doing something and actually not walk with that, what they are saying. But they'll say that they are walking with what they're saying, but not doing it. So it's good that you guys talk the talk and walk the walk.
Absolutely.
We had about half of our cast in April attending a protest in the middle of our run. They performed Friday night, protested Saturday, came back and performed on Saturday. That's what we do.
That's very impressive, honestly.
Everybody
Very
looked a little
impressive.
zoned, but we were there.
Yay. Well, as long as you guys, yeah, that's awesome. I love that. That makes me more excited now too. Yay, you guys rock. Okay, anyway.
It's a little tricky because we live on the red side of the state, and
You
we find that in a time when it is a lot easier to be quiet, that this is our superpower, is raising our voices and putting our group of people behind the cause and saying no.
I love that very much so. I also technically live in the red part, in the part of Colorado I live in.
Yes.
At least it's mainly red. There's little spots of blue, but at least of what I've seen and the before and after this current situation. But for those in Colorado that are interested, how can those local to Colorado better support your company and what you guys do?
I think one way is to just get our information out there. It can be sharing our socials, putting it out there on their pages. Hey, this theater company exists, is always helpful. Of course, any type of donations is always helpful because we put all of this on with really our own money, and we want to be able to put on more theater. And so any type of financial stuff is going to help us put that theater on throughout the Grand Valley. And if you are in this area and you want your story told, coming and participating with us. And that doesn't have to be on stage, that can be backstage, that can be lights, that can be costumes. There's so many different ways to get involved with our theater company. And we would love to have more people to tell those important stories.
Right. And one thing that's been really cool about this is meeting people out in our community who maybe don't want to perform, but they still have a story that they want told. So writing their story or writing their poetry and giving that poetry a voice on stage. In the last show that we did, we had a woman write a poem, but she wasn't comfortable sharing it herself. But she was in the audience to see that performed, and she said it was super powerful to be able to give her voice a stage to have that outlet. So writing and backstage, sharing, talking about it, talking about what we're doing, giving us more ideas of how better we can support our community and the marginalized voices out there.
Very cool. Well, you kind of talked a little bit about this, but what are projects that are coming up soon for you guys?
The soonest projects we have are that we are slated to do some performances at the Grand Junction Pride Festival, which we do in September here because June is just, there's too much competition in June, basically. So we'll be performing at Colorado West Pride at some point on September 6th, which is a Saturday. And then in October, the 10th, 11th, and then 17th and 18th, we'll be performing our latest show, which we are calling Feminist Horror Stories.
Ooh, that's very exciting.
It's spooky.
It's super spooky.
So spooky. Especially kind of the premise, since you brought up, right, a little earlier.
Yes, the folklore and the legends and the
those stories. And
there's everything from goofy movie monsters to spooky banshees. It's just going to be really fun, but also
Don't forget
hopefully.
lesbian vampires.
Oh yeah, not
Yes,
and
lesbian
lesbian
vampires.
vampires.
Sirens, Bloody
Medusa.
Mary, Medusa. So
I
yeah,
love
it's
Medusa.
variety.
Huge variety,
And-
and we should be announcing our next project sometime in the early fall.
Mhm.
That's good to know too. And then this kind of goes into the same thing, but that's okay. What projects are you in the works of currently?
Right now, we are collecting different plays and pieces that would really work well with our mission, what we're trying to do. We are collecting different people submit different pieces to us. We're looking at just a variety of what kind of performances we can do beyond just on stage. So going out into the community as well. So we don't have our next season completely set, but we're hoping to get that done fairly
Yeah.
soon.
Yes.
And in the meantime, we are working on the behind the scenes. We're going to work on becoming a nonprofit and building up our standing in the community and all of that good stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, we definitely want to not just be a theater company, but really a pillar in the community for people who feel that they don't have that community. They can come into our coven.
Our company.
Right.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh yeah, and now the very important, which will be left down below if you want to check them out. Where can everyone find you on social media?
So we are under Three Sisters Theater Company, Theater RE, on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. We have a YouTube for people who don't talk. In case people want to see our TikToks, they're on there as well. We have our email address that we can be reached at, threesisterstheaterco@gmail.com, and
We have our website, but it's not
a website in the
Fully
works.
built
It
yet.
is under
Yep.
construction right now. We're really, really excited for it. It's gonna be pretty awesome.
Yeah. And of course, our newsletter, if people want to subscribe, they can reach out to us and we will get their information in. And soon when we have a website, we'll just have a subscribe button. So
That's perfect. Well, thank you guys so much for being here. And
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank
Letting
you.
us talk about our theater company. We love to talk about our theater.
Yes.
company.
which is great because this should come out pretty quickly, actually, after there's an approval process by you guys or disapproval. So you get to see it before everyone else does.
Yay.
But yeah, again, thank you for being here. Embrace your truth, tell your story. You have a story to tell, I have a story to tell. So let's tell our stories. Until next Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Thanks, everyone. Peace. Thanks so much for being here, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this episode with many more to come. If you'd like to help support and grow the podcast and even the YouTube channel, please not only follow, like, subscribe, but please leave a review on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere you listen to this podcast. Thanks so much for being here. Until next week, on Wednesday at 7 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Peace. Catch you later.